Today we are going to look at how to render a Blender file in Google Colab environment. So if you have not heard about Google Colab is an environment provided by Google to run scripts, process data, and do various processing work within their environment. So we are going to use Google Colab to render our Blender files. The reason for this is that Google Colab provides GPU servers, which is very much important when rendering files like Blender to provide a video or an image output. So when you first come to Google Colab, there are multiple plans available: Collab, Colab Pro, and Colab Pro Plus. There are various advantages of using Google Pro and Google Pro Plus, but in our case, we are going to use the free version of Google Colab. So in order to process a Blender file in Google Colab, you are required to have a Google Colab script. But if you are not that much technical, it's hard for you to write a Google Colab script. So in order to generate a Google Colab script, we are visiting this website, which is blender-colab.com. So once you visit this tool, so if I'm going to repeat again, this website or the tool helps us to create the the Google Colab script that can be used to render our Blender file. Okay, so once you first visit this website, you need to notice that it's blendertool.com, and then if you go down, this is how you upload your Blender file to the platform. Means that, so what you're trying to do is that you are taking a Blender file and then you are processing it and getting the output, rendering it, and then you are getting the output as image or video or some sort of an output. So for that, we need to tell the Google Colab script where to find the Blender file. So there are three ways actually you can do that. So first is that you can select upload a Blender file from the device, or else you can select from the Google Drive, or you can provide a direct URL to the Blender file. So I'm going to show you all these three steps so that it's very clear for you how this happens. So the first case is that I'm going to upload a Blender file to my Google Drive, and then use that Google Drive path, use that file when I'm running the Colab script. So for that, I need to click on upload from the device. Then it will say that it will show the Google Blender tool name, and then it will ask us to sign in with Google, so that we provide the permission for the tool to access the file or access the Google Drive, so that we can upload the Blender file there. So what I'm going to do is then I'm clicking on sign in with Google. Once you do that, you will be visiting to the consent screen where the client ID is also visible here, and then the tool of the app name, which is the Blender tool, is also visible here. So now I'm going to provide the permission to the tool so that it can access my Google Drive. For that, I'm selecting the email, and there, since the app is not yet verified, which is going to be verified very soon, it will say that it's not verified. So I'm going advanced, and then I'm clicking on go to blendertool.com. Then here you need to provide this permission, which says that edit, create, and delete all your Google Drive files, because it is needed, so that is the only way that the tool can upload a file on behalf of you. So I'm continuing. Now it's going to show the pop-up of that is coming from Google Drive. Now I'm going to select select this F1, and there I'm going to okay, so I'm going here, and okay, so inside of this folder there is nothing, so I'm going to select this folder and then say select. It will be asked me to upload the Blender file. Then I'm uploading that Blender file. It might take few seconds or minutes based on the speed of your internet connection. So in my case, it is uploading very quickly. Okay, so now it has uploaded successfully, and once it is uploaded, you can simply click on this URL as well. It's going to open our drive in a separate window. Then you can see the file that I just uploaded right now, July 4th. This is today. So okay, then okay, so this is the file that I just uploaded right now. And the other option is that I can select from the Google Drive as well. To do that, I'm clicking on select from Google Drive. Again, I have to provide my consent for the tool to access my Google Drive. So I'm selecting the same Google Drive account, and then I'm selecting this folder, and there we have this the file that we just uploaded, and then say select, and it's going to do the same thing. So you will be able to view that file. The other option again is that you can provide a direct URL to the Blender file. You don't necessarily need to upload your file to Google Drive always. If you have a direct URL to the Blender file, then you can straight away paste it here like I'm doing right now. So this URL has a direct access to the Blender file, this Blender file. But the next option is that you need to set an output path. The reason is that now you are telling Google Colab to take the Blender file, process it, and now you need to tell Google Colab where to store those results. So for that, you need to set an output path, which is definitely need to be Google Drive path. So I'm going to select the output path folder. Then again, it will ask me to provide access. So I'm clicking again. You can see the client ID as well here. So I'm going to provide the same account and selecting the same folder. So in my case, the Blender file is also inside of the same folder, and the output is going to be saved to the same folder as well. And then if you go down, there are multiple configurations that you have to do. In my case, there are various Blender versions. I'm going to select 3.1.2, and then the render engine, render device, and then the file format. It can be JPG or PNG, and whether you want to see the log or not, and then what are the frames that you are entering. In my case, I want to render from first one to, I want to render 10 frames. So by giving first and 10 as the start frame and the 10 as the end frame, the Blender script is going to render up to 10 frames and stop from there. So that's all we want in this script, right? So I think we have configured it properly. Now I'm going to say save and open. So it's going to create the Collab script and going to open the Collab script in the Google Colab environment. Once it's open, you need to make sure whether you are in the correct account. So I'm in the correct account. I selected this one, and we are in that particular account. So this is the script that has been created on behalf of you that is going to take the Blender file path as this URL and then store the result in your Google Drive. Okay, so once you reach up to this level, there are a few things that you need to do. In the view, you need to go to the notebook settings, and there you need to say it's GPU. If it is set none or if it is set TPU, you need to make sure that it's set to GPU so that it can do the graphical processing. So if you have a paid version, you will be able to do the background execution as well as you'll be able to enable highlight, which is not visible here. Since I have the free version, that's fine. We are going to use, we are fine without that option. So I'm going to save that. Then the next is that I need to go to the runtime and see if there are any sessions running. So if there are active sessions are there, I might need to stop them before I run this script. So in this case, you don't have any active scripts, so I'm going to close it. I think now we are all good. So we are going to runtime. We are going to run it. So we are going to the runtime menu and then say run. So the script now starts to run. The first thing you will see that there will be circles, dotted circles circling. So that means your script starts to run one section at a time. So now you can see some of the logs as well. So the first when the first section executes, it will ask you to connect to the Google Drive so that the Collab script can read the Blender file or Collab script can store the Blender file to your Google Drive. So I'm clicking on connect to Google Drive and then I'm providing metafylabs the account and then say provide the access. So once I give access, which means now Google Collab script has the access to your Google Drive folder, and there it's going to either, based on your the option you selected, either it might read the Google Blender file from your Google Drive, or and then save it to your Blender, save it to output path, or else it will. In my case, it will read the Blender file from the URL and then store the output into the Google Drive. Okay, so now you can see that we have provisioned a GPU which is Tesla T4, and now it is running some background scripts. First one is that it's installing Blender, and it will take some time to install Blender because it's a big file, so we'll have to wait for some seconds, probably a minute, but hopefully I assume that it will happen very soon. So it's actually Google Collab is a very good environment for all the data processing work. And this blendertool.com helps us to easily configure a Collab script that can be used with Google Collab. Okay, so it's still taking a little bit of time, so let's wait. Okay, so during that happens, I need to specifically tell you that the reason why a user need to provide the consent to access the Google Drive is just to upload a Blender file to the Google Drive, and then that is the first thing. And the next thing is that once the Google Collab scripts generate the output, that output is going to store in the same Google Drive as well. So that is the only reason the scope is being used within the blendertool.com. So if I repeat it again, the scope is used to upload the output of the Collab script result, or to read the Blender file from the Google Drive, or else to upload the Blender file at the first place to the Google Drive, nothing else. Okay, so now the Blender installs. It's now downloading the Blender file from the URL that I have given. Since I'm not using the Google Drive path, it's a direct URL. It's now downloading. Okay, its download has completed. Now it's starting to run the Blender file. Blender file. So yeah, so now you can see there are so I'm going to make sure, let's see, I'll reduce this space a little bit and then scroll to the left. So it's still running the sample 1 from the 1024. Okay, it's running sample 32. So it's trying to create the first output result right now out of the 10 images. It might be a little bit slow because I'm using a free Collab environment. If you're using a paid version, this might be really fast. So bear with me. It might take a little bit more time than expected. Okay, so it's finished the first screen. So now it might start rendering the second frame of the second frame from the Blender script. So it's running the second image now. So I think we might see an output. Okay, so you can see that the first screen has been created. Right, so it's really nice. So that so likewise, if I keep running this script, it will generate all the other images as well. So the output as well. So I think that's all I have to tell you. But before I stop the video, I need to tell you that before you save the Blender file, you need to make sure that your settings are correct. You have set the correct output file, correct resolution, and there are multiple settings that you need to focus that need to be properly set so that you can get this sort of a result. Okay guys, so thank you very much for listening to my video. Hope this helps.